Hi, I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, and welcome to The Fierce Files. Now, what I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is where I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. Now, I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your career, but in your life. And I want to make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com. Now grab your pen and get ready for today's session of The Fierce Files. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Fierce Files. So today, I'm so beyond excited to introduce to you somebody that, can you believe I'm getting ready to say I've known for over 9 years? Her name is Pam Perry. So Pam is an award-winning communications professional. She coaches and teaches her clients, and I'm one of them, how to attract major media and publishers. Now, in addition to that, she's the publisher of Speakers Magazine and the founder of the National Association of Black Podcasters. So Pam is known as the master of connecting the right people for the right project at the right time, and she works hard to help her clients brand and get paid like a superstar. Miss Pam, welcome to The Fierce Files.
Hey, thank you, Nicole. Yes, it's been almost a decade.
Right, isn't that crazy? You know, yes, the thing that, and right off the bat, the thing I love about Pam is I was a newbie. I had just written my first book, and a friend of mine who I called my publicist at that time because she would call places and get me in places. I was at the National Urban League, and I guess Pam could tell her I know what I was doing. And she was so gracious because there was so many people waiting, and I was overwhelmed, and I was by myself, and I was like, oh my God, and came over graciously and helped me. And then not only that, she then wrote my first book review on Amazon. So Pam, first of all, thank you for, over almost 10 years ago for stepping up, being who Pam already is, because she was connecting me. She was pulling people over to talk to me. And it was like I've known you for a lifetime in that moment.
It was. And one of the things when I saw your light, you were so excited about your book at the Urban League. I think we were in Boston. And we were in Boston, and I saw the book, and I think you were telling me about it, and you're passionate about wanting to help teen girls and amount of faith. I mean, you just went on. I was like, oh my God. I said, she is on a mission. This is her calling. I was like, this is her calling. And so I'm always called to help people that are sure about their calling. And you were always just sure. You weren't like flaky about it. You weren't in it one day and out. No, you were like solid. This is what I'm called to do. I'm here to inspire and empower teen girls, and now in teen women. Now just right. Teens. But that's what I liked about you when I first met you. I said, yes, I said, I want to help you get the message out there. So that's really the whole point.
And really, this is why I have the Fierce Files, because I expanded my territory. There's always one level of success, but there's so much more for you. So this is perfect segue because, Pam could have been just okay with being a publicist because, she does that kind of good, right? I could go on and on about places she's gotten her clients placed, from Time Joiner to major networks to major magazines. I can go on and read this whole list. And that could have been good enough. But then Speakers Magazine. Oh, but that could have been good enough, right? Speakers Magazine, just imagine the platform that is. Oh, that could have been good enough. And then here comes the National Association of Black Podcasters, right? So Pam, tell us, every time you say yes to that next, why?
Well, it's a situation where you're sure of your calling and you know that you want to do something, but just as when times change, you have to change with the times. So initially, Speakers Magazine is not the first time I've had a publication. My first publication was actually a newspaper, and that was called Soul Source. And it was actually a tabloid placed into our Black public.
I remember that. That is such a trip. Yeah. I did not know. Oh my God, I remember that.
That was Soul Source. And basically that was to really help churches, because my company is Ministry Marketing Solutions. That's the parent company. That was to help churches really get their message out there. It's like, it's a lot of people I felt that probably are Christians, but they don't go to church. I said, but if we can kind of translate their message into a newspaper, that's really where I think we'll draw people in. So we would just really feature Christian authors and Christian speakers. And little did I know that years later, then I would just do a little magazine called Speakers Magazine, because that was really my main focus, is really concentrating on speakers. So yeah, one of the things that just, I think being a creative, that you can't, or at least for me, I know I can't just stay stagnant. And so in order to grow, you have to move and change. And I've never, ever been afraid of change. So fearless, being fierce, is not being afraid to change, not being afraid to fail. Because Soul Source was a newspaper. And if you know anything about newspapers, they really, it didn't work. It just failed. It was because people weren't reading newspapers. The product was excellent, but the newspaper that it was inserted in was the wrong medium, because people weren't reading the newspaper, our target audience. Even that we inserted 10,000 copies every week. And so we inserted 10,000 copies into their newspaper every month. And basically it was the wrong audience. It was the wrong audience. It was like, okay, we're trying to reach the church people, we're trying to reach progressive, we're trying to reach you. But then the Black newspaper was like, it's old, and the people over 65. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
All right, that's not gonna work. So anyway, so we learned our lesson. but now we publish online. So the people that we want to reach, we publish at the event where the speaker's on the cover, and then online. And that's where that basically is our distribution channel.
And I love the fact that you are cutting edge, and that you go where, dare I say, it's current, because that's what a good publicist does, is goes where it's current, right? But even, being a woman of faith and being who you are unapologetically, because that's the one thing I know about Pam Perry, right? You are a mover, you're a shaker, you are someone that loves hard, you work hard for your clients. But even as a woman of faith, how has your faith literally been tested as the CEO of multiple companies?
Woo. So one of the things that when I first started Ministry Marketing Solutions, my goal was to really help churches. And so because the company name was Ministry Marketing Solutions, a lot of my clients would say, well, you know what? The Lord told me that you should help me for free. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't get that memo,
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of times people would take advantage, or would try to take advantage of me, because they thought that I felt like my business was my ministry, then I should really just do it like really cheap. But I knew the value that I brought. And so that tested my faith. I was like, God, am I missing you? There's so many people I want to help, but they seem like they don't have the money. Should I really be, helping them for free or whatever?
And let me just stop you right there real quick, because I want to hear the rest of the story, but I have to say this here, because I started faith-based too. And I literally was giving away all my stuff for free. And I don't know what it is. And I was struggling, y'all. So for the first 10 years of my business, I was broke. Doing great. If you looked at my resume looked great, but I couldn't pay a bill, right? And so I always said I had a daytime job to pay for my nighttime calling. And here's what God said to me when I started praying about it, like, Lord, if is this you? And, all mad because I wasn't making money. And God said this: service and struggle should never coexist. Why would I want you to serve my people? Why would I love you as your heavenly Father and want my daughter to struggle?
Oh, that is good. That is
and
good.
In that moment, I realized the Bible verse came to me, John 10:10. And most people, I say this is just about every event I'm at, because literally this changed my life in 2010. I started my business in 1993. In 2010, when God put this in my spirit, he said, I have come that you have life and have it more abundantly. That's in the Bible, the Bible. And so many of us, and I'm clear, this is my ministry, just like what you're doing is your ministry, right? But I'm clear that God gave me this gift so I could eat and pay my mortgage. And the more I pour into myself, the more I can pour into other people.
Exactly. And
So
it wasn't until I got a coach that really saw that I was struggling, and I was really trying to help. And one of the things that he said to me, he said, a worker is worthy of his wages.
Ooh.
And so that was just one of the things that I just remember he said to me. It was like 1 Timothy 5:18. It says, basically, you are doing the work. You're getting results for people. You are helping them. If they didn't have you, they wouldn't be in the places where they are. So you are worthy. It's in the Bible. Because he was like, you want to go there? He says, you deserve to be paid. Because, so that just kind of released me. And then also he said, I release you from trying to serve broke folk.
Hello.
He said,
Right. Because
you can't help broke folk. He
no.
said, broke folk will have you broke. So
And we're
you
not just talking
are,
about broke financially. We're talking about broke spiritually. We're talking
yes.
about broke in every way. And I want you guys, and listen, as you're listening, you guys, I want you to get this because some of you are in a broken place. And some of you, I'm gonna step on your toes, and I'm doing this in love. You're choosing to stay in a broken place. You can't get over where you are, continue to repeat the same story in your head over and over and over again. If you want something different, you've got to do something different.
That is so true. I say that all the time. If not, it's just insanity trying to do the same thing, trying to
Right.
expect different results. And
Right.
so for me, the first 5 years of my business, I really struggled with that. Even though I had, clients that I work with, TD Jakes, I work with Creflo Dollar, I work with a lot of quote unquote gospel celebrities, but I also had a heart to work with those that were up and coming. And so
Right.
for the first 5 years, I was like, Lord, is it really you? Do I really? And so really it just took a point in time where I did a seminar. I broke through and I did a seminar. I said it was called Marketing Your Ministry, How to Go to the Next Level, but Never Settle. And so when I did that, I was really talking to me as well as them. Like, don't settle. Don't just grab at the bare bottom, at the bottom of the bird cage, right?
Right.
Don't settle, go to the next level. And so really from that standpoint, my business really began to change because when I did that seminar, I really was talking to myself because it's like, you know what, why are you settling for this? This is not where I called you to be. Like you said in John 10:10, you're supposed to be in abundance. So how are you going to help other people have an expansive PR marketing and really expand their name and you're not in abundance? So that was really a shift for me. It really was. And from there, I've always never been afraid to change, never been afraid to rebrand, to switch it up. I was one of the first people I knew as far as my industry was blogging. And so a lot of my PR colleagues were like, girl, you on that social media all day. And what are you trying to learn all that for? Well, you just blogging. Why are you doing those videos? And now it's kind of like, okay, my friends are like baby boomers. It's like, can you teach me how to do a webinar? Can you tell me about podcasting? It's like, yep, years ago you were just talking about me because I didn't know how to do it. But I knew that it was a way and a tool for people to really control their own media. It will come a time where radio, TV, and print, where they will not necessarily tell your story. You've got to own your own media. You've got to tell your own story in your own newspaper, which is a blog, in your own magazine, which you can do yourself, or your own TV show, which is Issa Rae did that. She did it on YouTube, started there, right? So you have to control the things that you can control. And so control your message through these social media outlets.
We're going to stop here and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for more. Hi, have you taken a look at my new website? Go to the new and improved NicoleRobertsJones.com and you can do everything from reading my latest blog to grabbing the free resources that are included in that blog to listening to past podcast episodes of The Fierce Files. In addition, you can also sign up for my free mini course. It's called My Fierce Roadmap, and it will give you the clarity on where you are toward living in your purpose and getting paid for it. My goal in everything we do here at the Fierce Factor Lab, including the podcast, is to give you more to align your purpose with your paycheck. So go take a look at NicoleRobertsJones.com. I love that you said own your own media. That somebody needs to tweet that. Own your own media. And you know, the one question that I get asked a lot when I'm at a speaking event and people, stand in line to ask me questions afterwards, I promise you this is a question I get every city I'm in. People say things like, I want a TV show, right? And they say, like, I was just recently in New Jersey, in Atlantic City, and a woman stood in line and said, I want my own show on the Food Network. And I said, here's how you get your own show on the Food Network. You need to have your own show on YouTube right now, right?
Thank you.
Because they're going to be looking to see how many eyeballs you already have. People just don't give people shows or book deals or whatever, just because you're good.
Right. If anybody knows the story about Issa Rae started out on YouTube. That's what she started.
Yeah.
So the awkward Black girl was really that was a show on YouTube, and it became a phenomenon. And then it became, now she's the it girl. So you got to start where you are.
Yeah. And literally own your own media. I'm going to say that over and over again, because that's so good. And stop waiting for other people to give you a handout and start doing your own.
Exactly. And that's the same thing I always tell people about their books. I said, you know what, if you really write your book, put your own self on tour, quit waiting for people to call you so you can come and do a book tour. I said, put your own self on tour. And
Right.
then you'll actually find your own tribe. I mean, people will show up if you have a good message. And I always believe that. If you have a good message, they will show up. Or the people, if it's not thousands, if it's hundreds, even if it's a handful, those are the people that God sent to you, and you need to serve them. So put your own self on tour.
Right. What's that? Look, I don't know if this is a Bible verse or a quote, but do not despise the day of small beginnings. I think that's a Bible verse.
That's the Bible verse.
Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Right. When I listened to T.D. Jakes tell his story, and I think this was maybe 6 months ago, it was church anniversary, and he's my TiVo pastor, meaning that on when I have Bedside Baptist, that's who I watch online, right? And so literally he was saying that he remembered in West Virginia when he had 2 or 5 members or something like that. And if he would have quit then, right? And even when he had to walk with holes in his shoes, when he had to sleep in his congregation because they didn't have the money for rent or what have you. And again, don't despise the day of small beginnings, right? And that does speak to own your own media, because again, you guys, in this day, and I love that you said that, Pam, and I have a question for you around that in a second, but I need you guys to get this, because you got to stop waiting. You got to stop waiting. Recently, that was probably a year ago, I was on doing a Facebook Live, and a woman kept saying, I'm praying about it. And that kept bothering me. Now, y'all know I'm a Christian. So the fact that somebody said that they were praying about something, I'm like, why is that bothering me? So it bothered me that I was bothered that she wanted to pray about something. So I prayed about being bothered. And God said, because she's using me for an excuse. Yes. She keeps saying that she's waiting on me, and I'm waiting on her.
That's so true, Nicole. Listen, I've been doing this for about 19 years. And so every kind of Christian will come into me and they'll say different things. I know the Bible. It's like, I know the Bible. I said, and I also know when you're using that as a cloak or a cover, I'm waiting on God. I got to pray about it. Or, it's like, you know what? It's really, really clear. The Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will convict you, and you'll know, and you know, and you know her. But to say you're going to pray about it, that's just like to push something off, to procrastinate. And
that's like saying, I'm going to try. No, either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. Don't tell me you're going to try.
That's right. And do not despise small beginnings. For those Bible scholars out there, that's Zechariah 4:10.
Yeah, girl. Thank you. Hallelujah. Look, I always tell people, look, I have not gone. Look, I know the Bible, but I will quote it and say it's in there somewhere. I know it's in there somewhere, right? And my team laughs at me because I'll say that I know that's in the Bible somewhere, or I'll say, like I said, I don't know if this is a quote or a Bible verse, because I know the Bible so much and I read it so often that I feel like I say stuff and I'm like, is this a quote I read on social media? Is this a Bible verse? So thank you for that.
Funny. I remember one time my grandmother used to say this all the time, Nicole, and she would say, God bless the child that has her own, right? God bless the child has her own. And for a long time, I thought that was in the Bible. And then someone told me, says, no, girl, that's a Billie Holiday song. I was like, oh.
Okay. That is hilarious.
It's like, God bless the child that has her own. But that just she used to say that to me, like, you need to go to college. You need a college, and you need to have your own. Don't be trying to wait for no man to give everything to you. She said, God bless the child that has her own. And so I was like, oh, that's in the Bible. They were like, no, that's Billie Holiday. I'm like, oh.
Well, look, and that's a perfect, what I was going to ask you next, right? Because the thing that I hear you, I've heard kind of a theme in our conversation in the last few minutes is that you are always ahead of the curve, like learning, going past blogging and posting social media, even probably, I know you're probably blogging before the rest of us. So what I know for most of us is when you are ahead of the curve is lonely because nobody else is doing it but you. Right. And then I also heard you say, people were saying, hey, girl, are you crazy? Why don't you just go do this? And why don't you go do that? So what made you, in the face of all that, just stay unapologetic and say, this is the thing? What is that inside of Pam that lets you, that pushes you to do that?
I think I'm an only child, so I grew up by myself. So I spent a lot of time with books. So I spent a lot of time with books and reading. So I have my own like little world, right? So I'm inspired by books and words and really seeing things and have a vivid imagination. So seeing things that aren't really there yet. I can't really put my finger on it, but I know that it's possible. So I would just say, just really spend a lot of time alone, really looking, journaling. When I journal something, it's amazing. When I go back and read some of the things that God just kind of pours in me and say, this is where I need you to go. And it just happens. And I'm a big proponent of vision boards and journaling. Those are really the major things because that's where God downloads to me. So when I look at my vision board, my whole office is basically a vision board. And then when I look at my journals, I just see the clues that he's trying to give me. I just have to activate. And so I'm an activator. That's just one of my traits. I like to activate things. I may not have all the details, so I'm not going to overanalyze everything. I just went to a conference not too long ago, and a lady was talking about cliff jumping. I'm a person that's just like, I want to jump off this cliff, and I just really just feel strongly about it. And if I fail, I fail, but I think it's going to be okay.
Right.
And I just really, a lot of times I know that doing something new is scary for people, but doing something new for me is always exciting. So that's just me. My husband, on the other hand, he does not like to try anything new. And so he will procrastinate. Well, I'm the opposite. I'm more like the person that will pull the trigger before everyone else does. That's just exciting to me. Does it always work out? No, but that's just how I'm wired. So it's just really just taking the time to really look at trends. I'm really good at seeing trends, looking at trends, really listening to what is next. And so it's I'm an early adopter on a lot of things. So this whole phase of social media, digital marketing is exciting to me, because I was really bored with PR. I was like, oh, how much boring can this be? It's like, I can't write another press release and pitch it. I'm like, oh my God, it's like 10, 15. I'm like, I can't. Yeah. So this part makes it fun for me, because it's new. It's a new way to really get the message out.
And, as you were talking, and first of all, two things. I'm an only child too. That's why we connected so instantly. And and number two, I'm married to a procrastinator, and girl, sometimes I just want to shake my husband. So all of you that are listening and knows my husband, don't you go up to him and say, Nicole wants to shake you sometimes, but girl. Because I'm like that too. You give me an idea, I'm running with it. And my husband's like, well, let's think this through. I'm like, well, you think it through. I'm going to go over here and finish. You stay right there and think it through. I'll be done on the other side.
That's it. But we do need people to balance it. So that is probably why opposites, quote unquote, attract.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
That's so true.
So Pam, if you gave so many nuggets, I'm gonna repeat now. You guys know I take notes. I try to, and I write so fast. So half the time I can't read my handwriting because I'm trying to listen and write, and I have to ask another question, right? But first thing you said is a worker is worthy of his wages. Someone poured that into you, and that is so true. Then this right here is worth listening to, this whole podcast. How to go to the next level and not settle. How to go to the next level and not settle. Right. And here's what I got when you said that, because so many of us settle with our resume. When your resume and your bio is done, complete. So I don't care about that. Like, I don't care about my resume. That's done. I'm looking at the next 20 years of me. What's next for me? What am I going to be working toward next? Right. So when you look at any place and you just stay where you are and you sit in comfort, that's settling. So good. Right. And then own your own media.
That's it. You have to own it. Own your brand online. Shine online. Shine online. And it's like the law of attraction. I call it like client attraction, media attraction. Attract it. Put it out there and you will attract it. So if you think that you're all wonderful and a bag of chips, but you're sitting at home waiting to be discovered, but go out and actually put the content out and attract the media, attract the clients. That's the thing. So a lot of times I coach people on really just how to have a marketing mindset. It's okay to market. It's like telling a story. And
literally now I know when I explain to people who Pam Perry is, I'm going to say she helps you shine online. That's such a good subtitle, literally, because that's really literally what you do as a new day publicist. Not an old school publicist, because I'm sure. No,
I'm an OG, but I also am a new school too. So I always want people to like shine online. They were like, "What is that?" It's like, girl, come on, let's do this.
And you spend less money shining online than you do trying to do all this old school stuff, mailing stuff, and
oh my God, I could not go to the library. I mean, go to the post office, slinging those books in the mail, going media mail. Oh my goodness, yeah.
It's a lot. So with that, again, you've given us so much, right? If you had to give women one, like either, I'm going to let you choose from two things as we close, right? 3 actionable steps to shine online, right? And by the way, if you guys need Pam, you will see at the bottom of this episode where you can find her. 3 things women should know to shine online. And listen, when she shares these 3 things, even if you are a corporate executive, don't discount and think this is just for an entrepreneur, because you got to understand people are looking at your LinkedIn page too.
Right. So that's a good place to start then. Let's start with LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, write articles on LinkedIn. Write articles on LinkedIn. They will show up in a Google search. So even if you don't have a website, even if you don't have a blog, write an article on your expertise on LinkedIn. That is like one of the main things I would do. Then I would say create a YouTube channel. Google owns YouTube. So even if you only have one video on YouTube, name it what you want people to find when they're searching online, because behind Google, YouTube is the largest search engine. Create that bomb.com YouTube video that showcases your expertise of what people will be looking for, the problem or the answer, like Nicole talks about being the answer. Put a video out there that shows that you are their answer on YouTube, and make it a good video, no longer than 3 minutes. Put it together, spend some money on YouTube so that you can actually showcase your expertise. And the other one is just have a good irresistible offer, a free gift that will build your email list. So that's one of the main things. So once you have that free irresistible offer, that gift, build your email list. And then from there, it's a whole nother process. But then you actually nurture that email list so that you can actually find happy clients.
Exactly. Hello, which leads to a sale, if you haven't figured that out. So with that, Pam, thank you so much for everything you poured in today. I know we could go on and talk for the next 2 hours, but I feel like I should stop us here before we get off on another tangent. So thank you, girl. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you too. You are doing so well. And I love all of your branding. And it is your Instagram. I just love it. I love looking at your Instagram. I show it to my clients. I say, you want an Instagram that looks like this? Look at Nicole's Instagram. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. So I just appreciate you. And thank you. I
appreciate you. Thank you. Love you, girl. Love you, girl.
All right. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, I want you to walk away from these episodes with value, so grab your pen and answer either one or all three of these questions. Number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what would you do differently as a result of what you heard? So you may have heard something you've already heard before, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different because of what you heard. Number 3, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So what was something that showed you that you're headed in the right direction? Now, I want you to share your answers. Share your answer to either number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what would you do different? Or number 3, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com and use the hashtag FierceFiles. Now, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into our community to deepen our journey with being the answer someone needs and in being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and be fierce.